once again to this channel, and today is the second video this year. You know, we started speaking last week about how to double your money. And remember, if you set a goal in mind and you even write it down, you write all the steps that you're going to use in order to achieve it, then you definitely get there. And I'm surely very excited to share with you these lessons, because it's not that I've implemented them 100%. I'm also actually implementing some of these ideas as we go along. So today we are going to discuss again about doubling your money. And this time is what actions you need to take to put in place in order for you to achieve that goal. Let me share the slide so that we can start immediately. All right. So did you know that money is a doubles game? If you didn't know, then let's get into it. You can actually become a millionaire in actually less than 10 years if you only had 100,000. If you had a 100,000 shillings, $100,000, you can actually multiply that into some good money. But it all depends on what pace you want to grow. For example, let's look at scenario one. You had 100,000, and within 5 steps of a doubles game, you'll make it 1.6. So assume the 5 steps are monthly. So within 5 months, you've made your 1.6 million. Assume the 5 steps is 1 year. Within 5 years, you have made 1.6 million. So it depends on the pace at which you want to grow. Scenario 2 is if you had a little bit more money, like $1 million, then you actually make 16 million in those 5 steps. So between step 1 and step 2, steps 2 to step 3, it's up to you to decide, how do I want to move? Do I want to move on a yearly basis, that every year I want to double this money? Or is it that I want to do it per month or every 2 months? All right. Or is it every 2 years? So that means within 10 years, then you have moved the 5 steps. Okay. So first set the pace that you want to grow by. And from there, then you need to put something into action. You must be very decisive. What's your mission? What's your vision? What are your values? Because without this, then you lack focus. You do not know where you're heading to, what you want to achieve, because you must have some rules, some principles, some vision in place to actually, put you in the right course, in the correct track to be able to achieve your goals. So one, go study and find out, how do I craft my mission? How do I craft my vision and my values for me to be able to achieve this particular goal? That's a lesson for another day, but you can still Google it and learn on your own. But I will still cover it in, later in one of the videos. Number 2, you must have some top 3 audacious goals. The reason why I put the word audacious there is because sometimes they look crazy. And even if you share them with your friends, close relatives, they'll think you're actually nuts. You're actually going cuckoos. Yeah, because they have to be out of this world. You must see something like you're going to build a rocket or something like that. They must look like that. They have to be nothing compared to where you are today. Perhaps your income today is about $1,000 a year. And maybe you're thinking about $1 million within the next 2-5 years. Whatever doubles game you're going to build, because you just need to have your doubles game well written down. How am I going to, double my money? At what pace? And then what is this audacious goal that I'm going to pin there at the end when I achieve this particular financial goal that I'm having? And how actually am I going to work towards it? Because there must be steps. You don't just double your money. It's not a wash. It's not, chemical, legit. It is actually some actions that you need to put in place. Sometimes you need to multiply the number of hours that you spend in a day working on your craft or working towards your goals. And what that means is that you need to put aside or to leave a lot of things that you've been doing and make those decisions that this is what I'm going to do. But today I'm going to share with you some of the ideas that actually I have implemented and have worked for me. Some I'm still implementing, I haven't actually completed, so I can't tell you whether they're working or not. I'm still experimenting on them, and others I will do later. But I keep sharing this with you because I think and I feel a few of you who have been commenting, who have been actually emailing me, who have been subscribing to this channel, they're actually benefiting because there is a consistent number of people who keep watching these videos. And that is why I wake up every day and I have to share this with you. So if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and let's keep sharing these particular ideas. Comment, let me have your feedback because that actually helps me in building the best videos for you to watch. All right, let's continue. So what is this thing that you need to do? First, you need to know whose life do you want to model? Yeah. So this is number one. Remember, you're not creating anything from scratch that has never been done by anybody. You're actually doing something that someone else has done. And the fastest way to get where other people have reached, those people that you look up to, those people that you admire, is by perhaps even modeling their kind of life. So the best thing you need to do on this particular table that I'm giving you here, you list down the names, 2, 3 to 5 names, not more than 5 names of people that you admire, people that you look up to. They could even be within your country or in the US, UK, but people you actually like to study their stories. Then the next thing what you do is that you need to study the route they took to get where they are. You may need to go into Google, buy the books that actually describe their stories, learn as much as possible about those people, because it's people that you want to understand which valleys, which mountains did they climb, and for them to get there, because nothing was built in a day. They must have failed at one point in time. How did they get out of some of those challenges? And that is what you want to learn from. So the next thing you do is that who did they shadow? Yeah, those people that you admire, who actually did they model themselves? And what route did they use? And what were the first 15 moves? First of all, you need to craft some first 15 moves for yourself. What's the first move for myself today? From where I am stuck, what's the next move? What are the first 15? Because those 15 are the ones that will give you the goals that you can set for yourself to be able to achieve your freedom lifestyle, right? And who was in their ear? Remember, who was this supporting them, listening to them, giving them the motivation? Because remember, you cannot fight this war all by yourself. There must be some people who are actually giving you that nudge, that motivation that you need. Who were they? And then as you craft this, as you study those people, you're also relating to your environment and also picking those people who can also help you in a similar way that this person was helped. The reason you're studying them is so that you can also implement some of those ideas for yourself. Because if you're studying somebody in the US and you do not live there, definitely you cannot use the same, a support group that they used. You must create your own in your own locality, in your own environment that you live in. So you study them, you model them. If they had some people who are supporting them, also look for 1 or 2 people who can also support you, who can also be in your board, not elected in your board, but they can be those people you bounce your ideas to, all right? What strengths and weaknesses did they have? Those people that you're listening to or you're studying, what strengths and weaknesses did they have? What was their biggest fall? How did they even get out of it? And what was their biggest victory? And how did they reach there? So as you study this particular person or people, sometimes you just pick one because you admire them and you know the route they followed to achieve what they achieved is quite similar to your dream life. Then keep actually modifying your life to be able to see how you can overcome the challenges, similar challenges that they got through, by studying these people as much as possible. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 people because some of the things they did maybe is not aligned to what you're doing, but someone else did, and then you're able to study the next person. So the more you study about people, the more you start visualizing yourself achieving something similar, the more you get closer. And then also check yourself, your feelings, your emotions. Yeah, emotion is energy in motion. What does it produce when you visualize those goals that you're setting? And as you model this person, as you study this person, what are you feeling inside yourself? Are you excited, energetic, motivated, feeling that energy that you can achieve these goals? What are you feeling inside yourself? So it requires a lot to actually gather that energy, stretch your mind, build capacity for yourself, inside yourself, and visualize yourself achieving those goals. So the first step, study that person or those people that you want to model. The next thing that you do is that what you need to do next is that you need people around you. You cannot achieve goals all by yourself. What are these people? Who are these then you can shadow? The way your model or the person you want to model did it, then in your locality or in your environment, is there one or two people that you can also model? Number two, where will you get your customers? What's your customer characteristic, your avatar? And are those people local, international? How do they look like? Because you're modeling somebody, they actually build their business because they have this type of customers, but what are the characteristics of your customers? Do you have advisors around you? Yeah, remember, as you build your network, you need some 2, 3, 5 people that you can bounce ideas to. And those are kind of your advisors. Remember, this should be some people who are 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of you so that they are able to tell you, that step, if you go that way, perhaps you may find this kind of roadblock. So you need actually also to get that. They're rare, especially nowadays when so many people are trying to sabotage other people. So you need to be very careful how you select your advisors. And also some people who believe in you. They may not be your advisors, but they are people who actually say, could be even your family, yeah, your spouse, your children. They're actually seeing you're working very hard and they believe in you. And also it motivates you that when you see, wow, some people are actually seeing the steps that I'm making and I'm achieving with whatever struggles, but they believe that I can actually achieve those goals. So have them around you. And remember, this journey will always have enemies. They are those people who will actually pull down. But one thing I always use with enemies is that they give me free feedback. Right? So let those enemies comment on your YouTube channels, on your social media, posts and everything, because the more they comment, the more they allow you to think from their dimension, because you never know, some of these enemies could be your promoters tomorrow. Yeah, because they are actually following you daily. They are actually reading your content, and therefore keep posting, keep reading their comments, keep actually even modifying your way, your strategies based on their comments. Because some people, they tell you good things, nice things, so they don't help you much, but enemies, sometimes they give you very useful information for you to build on, all right? So what you need to do is have the right people around you. That is step number one on what you need to do. The next thing is you need to build on your skills. Remember, you don't know everything. So learning from other people, your mentors, your peers, and so on, it's very important. Like, for example, I was giving this example in another video of saying, as a coach myself, we have peer coaching sessions, and all we do is actually bounce ideas on each other. Yeah, I want to do this, and someone asks you questions. Of course, we use the coaching methodology, and it really helps actually in crafting your ideas, in modifying what we are thinking about. And if something didn't work and you get to the next peer coach, you're able actually to modify a lot of ideas and keep building. So if you're not a coach, definitely there are people around you that you can work with. If you're a teacher, a lecturer, there are other lecturers in your campus and other campuses you can connect with. So have the right people around you. Then you need to learn about sales and marketing, all right? So if you do not have the sales and marketing, either you can outsource that, but remember, sometimes what you have in mind, you cannot outsource, especially if you're building a business from scratch. The person you're trying to outsource to also may not be understanding where actually you're heading to in the next 1 year, 5 years. You also are not sure because you're actually crafting as you go along. So sometimes you're the best person to sell your ideas and keep modifying them as you go along, because it's your story, right? Although you may have 1 or 2 support people to help you maybe with admin work and so on, but you may want to go back to school and learn about sales and marketing, about social media marketing, and finally, actually about networking. You need to be in the right groups. So either socially or even locally, which groups, business groups, social groups, how are you networking? How are you building your network with peers, with potential customers? Are you actually connected with the world? You may want to start doing that. And finally, the negotiation. Do you know how to negotiate with potential customers to give them value and let them pay for that value? So if you do not have these skills, you need to perhaps go back to school, college, get a coach, just find something to do. And the other thing about skills is that we learn and learn every day. You'll never stop learning. The day you find yourself stopping to learn and there's nothing new to learn, just know you stagnated and perhaps something is not working in what you're trying to do. So keep actually looking for new knowledge, new things, and that perhaps comes from your networking teams, the people around you, your peers, your coaches, your mentors. So 2 things you need to do after you have found a model and you have modeled, you're starting to learn about your model, is you need people and the skills on the area that you're building your craft in. Because the end of the goal is to double your money. You cannot double your money just mysteriously. You must be building something, a business, or investing, whatever you're doing, there's something you're building, and therefore you need to learn and keep learning and keep connecting with people who can actually buy your product or service to be able to double that money with the pace that you have actually set for yourself. All right. So the pace you set for yourself will also dictate at what pace you need to build your network and learn new skills. If it's fast, then you need to burn the midnight oil and ensure that you achieve what you are looking for. And then what tools do you need? Sometimes you need some money or some resources, and the contacts, definitely the people. However, there are people who have started their businesses with no money, no dollar at all, because a few people went to social media, they spoke about very interesting things on the phone that you're perhaps watching this particular video on, and they were actually able to monetize that particular YouTube channel. And after monetizing the YouTube channel, they were able to use that cash then to build the business they were looking for. So that means is that the resources, you don't have to have money at the moment, but you can use that phone that you're using instead of just sending and forwarding messages on WhatsApp, but use it to actually build a YouTube channel or just give valuable information that can help somebody discover you and be able even to promote you, because you have very unique value-adding information that you're sharing on social media or wherever. And make sure that you have the contacts that can actually help you start off. Then your mindset, don't start, stop, start, stop. You got to decide, I'm starting, never to stop, because trust you me, there is a lot of roadblocks and a lot of people who want to stop you from doing what you're doing by saying whatever they say. So you got to be decided and to be resilient along the way, because sometimes it can get very tough. And get a thick skin, because guys can really say stuff, mean stuff, right? So your mindset and your resources are your tools for getting to where you want to go. All right. So what next? Then sometimes you may want to have a vehicle to get there. As I said, some people use YouTube channel to give interesting stories depending on your talent and skills, and they're able to get there. If you look at Oprah, Oprah used what? Talk shows. Akon from Senegal is actually building a city. He used music. Yeah. And from music, he's now able to give back to the community in his home country. What vehicle are you going to use to get there? Right? I know somebody locally who has actually a school, and a school is located about 40 kilometers from Nairobi, and it's a boarding school. And how she gets students to actually sign up to that school is by doing some charity work with women in Nairobi, and she's a connector with business and everything. And as a result, she's able actually to get those women actually to take their children to her school. So what vehicle are you using to get where you're going, right? Because your ultimate goal, if let's say you wanted to build a city like Akon, you cannot just wake up and say, I'm building a city. There must be a way, a route towards that. Akon went to the US, started building music, and as a result, he's able to achieve something in his home country. So it's up to you to understand that you got to be seen, heard, and vocal out there, adding value, something that people can enjoy, to be able to get where you're going. So to double your money is not a smooth sailing route to get there, but it's enjoyable if you enjoy the journey towards it. Okay. So as we end this particular video, which are your top 3 goals that you must smash in the year 2022 to start your doubles game? We said money is a doubles game. You've got to decide when you want to double it, how you want to double it, and which path you're going to follow. All right. So you got to sit down now and add to the list your 3 goals that you want to smash in 2022 as you build your financial freedom. So thank you so much for listening. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Click the bell and let's meet in the next video. Goodbye for now.